carry on chatting. We'll carry on chatting. Well, I think Amanda can relate to a few things on here because Amanda's recently started her own um, kind of fitness program, and you've been an athlete for quite a few years, so a you've always had a regular routine with your fitness, haven't you? How's it kind of affected you?
Yeah, I think again, we've exercised our whole life, and it was sort of implemented from early on, which
Yeah,
I don't think everyone has that sort of routine built into them. So it has always been my go-to, and I love it. But then with life, university, job, aspirations in terms of career, just all those sorts of things, it kind of goes on the back foot a little bit, even though I've never really stopped.
yeah,
To be honest, I never have really stopped. It's just other things that have crept in that probably haven't helped. But yeah, I've been on a new journey since the end of February. So was it May?
yeah. Just to fill everyone in, anyone who doesn't know sort of our background story is both our dad was actually our running coach at the time. He was quite a famous guy in the local area. His name was Jim Bailey. And Amanda was like a really sick runner. Like everyone who knew me was like, "You're Amanda's brother," because Amanda was like, top tier athletics, doing middle distance. It was around like 1500, 5K we were doing, and so it's been quite an integral part of our lives, which is totally different to kind of where Monika's come from. That's why I chose to do Monika's story in this process, because we've always had something. We've always, I don't know, it's just been a habit for us, hasn't it, Amanda?
Yeah. It was just, it's like going to bed or eating food, or chilling out or going to school. It's just been part of life. It's just so normal. And I'm so grateful for that, because it's such a good gift that Dad gave us, really. It's a great coping mechanism, and whether he had the intention of that or not, I don't know. But
What's quite interesting is Dad's reason as to why he does it. I've listened to him a few times actually when he talks about running directly, and he always talks about how the feeling of being free. Do you remember that?
yeah,
When Dad talks about running, he talks about being free. It's not about running fast. It's not about like improving. He always talks about being free, and I think that's quite a deep insight as to like, you know, Dad's he's quite a tough guy. He doesn't really say much, but he says these things, and you think, wow, that's quite deep actually. When you listen to people's words and you really pay attention, you can get a deep insight to how someone feels, which is important with success. But I mean, we've never had that issue. We just ran, didn't we? We've had a good life.
yeah. I think a lot of, like, going down the runner route, I think a lot of runners, a lot of the people that I go down park run with and meet, patients of mine who are runners,
Yeah,
a lot of people have found it later in life, and they found it because it is an escape from a stressful job, or intense childcare, or just a way of getting out aggression, or and I would say the majority of my running friends have come from that place. But we kind of had it from that early start. And I do use running as my sort of escape. And whenever I don't go for a run, Will sort of says to me, "Have you not been for a run for a few days?" I think you should go out, and sort of pushes me out the door. So yeah. I didn't start it from that place, but it definitely has become that sort of thing.
absolutely. I think it applies a lot to as well. Like just saying that, you said about Will saying, have you not been out? There was a guy that I met at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu maybe like 2 months ago, and he goes, he's a Mexican guy, and he goes, "Oh, my girlfriend told me to come to Jiu-Jitsu. I was being a bit, he was being a bit stressy, kind of bit arsey, and I was like, that's quite interesting because everyone's got their sort of vices, and it's like, what vices do you choose to relieve the stress to make you, you know, it's not just you're saying it's like an escape, but really it's more than just an escape. It's like you're getting more healthy. You're I don't know. It's just so much more than just an escape. It's like something like good for yourself. It's time for yourself. You're making yourself better rather than like having 5 beers down the pub. Even though like socializing is really good, and I'm not knocking it, but relying on something like a beer, say if you have it on your own, like at the end of every day, or going for a run. I mean, you know, one gives you something, one takes something away from you. You know,
It's kind of what you said earlier about, you know, like linking it into Mental Health Awareness Week and addictions, and it's like it can be utilized as a tool to, so it does give you that kick, and you know, coming from a health perspective, you are getting that hormonal change, the dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, all of that, so you are getting that lift without having to go to something external like smoking or drinking or drugs or whatever.
yes, yeah,
Of course, life is about balance, but I think a lot of sort of normal life isn't very balanced, you know, and that's the thing.
that's the thing. It's interesting because you know you're starting this new business venture now, and it's obviously going to be really stressful for you. But there's going to be aspects of your day that are going to be like super stressful. So you need to make things like you're like, in order to have the balance, you need to almost overcorrect it in the other way. Like you need to be like ultra relaxed at other points in order to bring you back to neutral. Otherwise, you're just going to be constantly burning the candle a little bit too much. And a lot of mental health is keeping that balance. In my head, I think that's what it is. You need to be stressed at some points, but you need to have massive relaxation. You need to push yourself, but you need to chill. You know?
The thing, actually, how I feel is I don't feel like super stressed. I just constantly feel moderately stressed, but all the time. That is really, it's funny, but it's also, I think because it's not like super stress, you don't sort of identify it as stress.
Yeah.
And because it's constant all the time, I think that's really fatiguing. I would almost like peaks of like high stress and then just like cash, but it's just like just moderately there all the time and just in my mind sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I actually,
You find when you do go for these walks and you do go for these runs, it does reduce that down. It takes it down that little notch, you know.
a little bit. So obviously I'm on your program, and you've sort of altered my old ways. So the program takes quite a lot of time. Actually, it's been quite good because it's been a real sort of creative space for me. So when I'm doing my training, and all my training is walking. I'm not really allowed to run at the moment. But whilst I'm walking, I'm creative, and I'm thinking, and a lot of my solutions occur whilst I am exercising. And actually, whilst I was at university, say I'd have an anatomy lecture or whatever, I think that my best revision was whilst I was out for a run, and I'd think, oh right, okay, those are my quadriceps, what's happening, my heart's going, or like let's say we did the respiratory system that day, thinking about and as I'm running I was thinking about that, and it's a great way to sort of problem solve in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of the things as well. I mean, it differentiates a little bit between sort of like cardio and you know, weight training or something like that. So like if you when we used to go for our runs, we used to run a lot together, but they got to a point when I got a bit older. As I got older, I was a bit further ahead, so we did our runs on separately, didn't we?
Yeah, that was real tough. That transition from me winning to you winning was just horrific. That was very stressful. Low jog turned into sprints.
Oh, we used to have some battles, we did. But yeah, the main thing is the fact that it progressed into something where we were like on our own. It's that space away just to be with yourself. And I think, I think that might be what Dad was referring to when he said he felt free when he ran. I think that's
Also just in touch with nature.
Say again?
And getting in touch with nature and
Yeah.
seeing change in the seasons. Also, I think for me, a massive thing which links to mental health is resilience. Like when you're sat inside and you look outside and you can hear the wind or you can see the rain and you think, oh, I'm just going to retreat and stay here. Which I don't know what's happened to me as I've gotten older. I've become a little bit more like that, whereas I never used to be like that. When I was 15, 20, whatever. But as soon as you go out the door, like now, because I'm doing your plan, I have to do it, and I have to put it into my program and get that tick. It's never as bad. It's never as bad as you think. The rain is not that heavy. It is not that cold, and actually, your skin is waterproof. And just put on a hat and put on a scarf, or if it's too sunny, I love my visor. So I think it. And then once you start going, you realize how tough you actually are, and that resilience then translate into life.
Everything. Everything. If you believe you're stronger, I think that's a key point, really. You believe you're stronger and you can do something. You believe in yourself. You're gonna. I mean, there's no bounds to how good that is there? You think you're tough. I mean, that's one mindset shift that can pretty much change your entire life.
It's really strange because, and I imagine a lot of people might feel the same. When you're young, you're fearless, and you have no fears. You don't look at the rain or the wind or the mud, and you think about your trainers and getting them dirty. But as you get a bit older, those things sort of creep in a bit, and it just starts really slow and small, and it just kind of builds. And thankfully I haven't gotten to that place where it's been really high that I just don't want to do anything because I don't want to get my shoes dirty or get my hair wet or whatever. But it is fear, and that's what you said earlier. You can either be running away from fear, or fear is something that's motivating you. And I think you said to me about depression and anxiety. You think I'm more an anxious person than a depressed person. And what was the difference, Frank?
I mean, I'm not an expert with this. I mean, when we're talking about this is just our understanding of how mental health refers to it. So by no means are we experts in defining it. But I'd say anxious, if I could say it in one sentence, is panicking about the future, from what I can understand. And depression is more dwelling on the past. I mean, I don't know the neurochemistry on it, but and feeling low mood. Here's low mood. Here's quite actually too much. You're overloaded and overstimulated. From what I can understand, and I think sometimes you can get yourself into a little bit of a panic and sort of overwhelm yourself a little bit, and that is that good de-stress for you. I think I'll probably be more on the other end, a bit too sort of calm, not calm, but I'll probably more dwell on the past and not worry too much about doing stuff. I don't get too nervous about stuff, so it's okay.
And do you think that's why fitness is so good, because it makes you in the now, and you're not thinking about the future, and you're not thinking about the past, which is anxiety and depression, which are the big things in mental health. That it just puts you in the moment.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I think when you've got Amanda, you're currently you're not only doing walking, you're doing like squats, and you've got a nice little home gym set up. Big up to yourself. Same here. I've actually moved back to
bike actually in the.
Oh, look at that! Wow, some cardio in. Love it. But yeah, I mean, when you're squatting, you got 40, 50, 60 kilos on your back, and you're benching 100 kilos, you can't really think of anything else. You can't think about something else, because you'll die. Or you get injured. Maybe you won't die. Maybe I'm not lifting heavy enough to actually kill myself, but I'll get hurt. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing, to actually be really sort of on the edge of danger. Not like danger, but like you know, you're pushing, you can't not succeed, that your only focus goes into this one thing. I actually seen studies. I know this is a little bit off topic, but I've seen like these studies they've done of recorded sort of life satisfaction. Don't I'm not entirely sure if this is entirely right, but there's like general life satisfaction amongst people who report that they have a lot of flow experience. Do you know what that is? Flow experience is like, you know, when you're in the zone. Have you ever had those days where you feel like everything's just going right? You're so in the zone. You're like getting everything just hits like perfectly every time. Every word you say is the right word. Every like crack and adjustment you do. I won't say crack. Adjustment. Every adjustment you do is, huh?
I don't mind. I'm not that finicky.
Good though, but like every adjustment is like on point. It's you're doing something you love, and it's like it's right every time. You know, pianists when they play like a concert piano, and they're just so in the zone, and you see it, or a rock star on stage, or even like Olympic gymnasts doing their routine. Like they're in the flow. They're so into something. They're not doing anything else. They're in that flow state, and it's just taking a little bit of that flow state once a day. They add up, and that life satisfaction, and in the studies that I saw, life satisfaction was through the roof compared to people who are never in flow state, always worrying about something, or never doing something they really like, or, you know, I don't know if that's exactly how you achieve flow state, but in my life and what I've seen in my clients repeatedly, they're able to get there, and they feel so satisfied. So yeah, it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting concept because it's not really about how to deal with depression or how to deal with anxiety. It's how to get your life right so it's not stressful. You know, but that's how it feels for me, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of one of those things now. It's like doing the workout and completing it. You know, you kind of like you've banked it, and you're like, right, I've done something good. And it makes, especially I work out mainly in the morning.
Yeah.
You start, you know, you make your bed, you do your training, you've just started well, so it's really started the day right. So generally it will go right, you know. So I do think that also with your program, like obviously you're in the UK, I'm in Jersey, so I'm an online client, but having the app, and then each time, so every other day I'm doing my weights, and as I go through the app I have to, you know, some days I'm better than the other, but I'm putting in my what I've done, how many reps and whatever. Then it has a little tick, and you do get that little dopamine rush, you know, and it's like, and you think, yes, I did that one, and within each session, and I mean the sessions they only take me half an hour.
Yeah.
You're doing,
for anyone watching this as well, it's a really, really important thing. You get into thinking like you need to start with an hour, like 5 times a week to get results. You don't need that. You need a good training program, stick to it, eat good food, loads of protein, and then you're sorted. And you feel good. You feel energized from it, not knackered. Sometimes
I can't believe it, Frank, because my problem is probably the opposite of, I would say, the majority of people. I do too much. And I want to do more all the time. I think, right, okay, Frank said 3 sets, I want to do 10. You know? He said to do 10,000 steps, I'm going to do 20,000. And I run myself into the ground. But trying to stick to what you've actually said, and I'm almost doing less, but it's so much more effective. And because I'm not so tired and fatigued, I feel so much better.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, if you're training hard all the time, then I think a lot of people probably at the start of lockdowns started this. You know, you see like these HIIT classes, and I know people that were doing like five HIIT classes in a row. Like you can't do like Olympic style athletes don't do 5 HIIT classes in a row. Granted, you're not doing it that like to the same intensity like an Olympic athlete would be able to push themselves to, but you're going to be knackered, and it's finding that balance of. I think I was talking to you about this the other day about having everyone wants a quick fix. Everyone wants to be good straight away, and it's not about that. It's about, it's understanding things take time. You need to build it's kind of what we got as well. It's like a habit. It's a lifestyle. It's just brushing your teeth. It's something you do every day. You don't brush your teeth once a week for 10 minutes. You brush 2 minutes twice a day, every day. It's knowing what's supposed to.
It's like, I mean, at the start of our program, which was only 2 and a bit months ago, I was 74.5 kilos, and within 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, I'd lost 2 kilos. I mean, I know, like, it actually was like, I haven't gotten to my goal yet, and we're sort of 2.5 months in. Yeah. So it's not a quick fix, but you're getting there are progressive results. So yeah. I almost feel like it has been a quick fix, because I've lost just over a stone in 2 months, and I've never achieved that. I haven't been this light since I graduated from university, and that was like 8-9 years ago, whatever it was.
The thing is, when you first get those 2 kilos, like this is what I focus on, and this is what I see constantly, is when you get those first 2 kilos, how do you feel? Like, you want to do more, you want to achieve more. Not like you have to keep going until you're an unhealthy body weight, but it makes you more motivated to do those things that you should do, and actually doing the right program. It's a big thing as well.
It does motivate you, and it's like, so now obviously I've gotten to a point where I've plateaued a little bit, and I've, like, obviously on your app I've got it shows my stats and everything, and it seems like I sort of drop down and then I go up a little bit and then I go down, and then obviously menstrual cycle has an effect as well, and I feel like I've got more of an understanding and accepting of my body, whereas before I didn't accept it, and as soon as things weren't going my right way, I'd sort of throw my toys out the pram and be like, oh, this just doesn't work, right, on to the next one. So whether that's keto, whether that's intermittent fasting, whether it's bulletproof coffee, and I mean, I do implement those things within your thing, but I also tell myself, right, like, it's not about today or tomorrow or the next day. Let's sort of look in every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks or even every month, and as long as that path for me is going down, that's the direction I want to be going.
Yeah, and that's kind of a mindset as well. I mean, you're starting your business now. That's a mindset of patience and understanding things have to take their natural course in order to carry on, and you're probably going to be able to develop your patience more in order to be a better businesswoman, or in anything, like, you're not going to be too hard on yourself. You don't get result today, but to keep striving tomorrow. It's not like, it's a balance between, like, obviously you need to get a result. You need to get a result in life. It's just the result needs to happen, but you need to know things do take time, and it's not just like this, A to B. It's like A to J to K to L to, you know what I mean, O to, and then Z. So it's to B. But yeah, things take their natural course, which is very important. It's all these things are really important to know, and that's all just learning from, like, doing a program, a transformation program. It's deeper than just your body changing. Yeah. It's more than that. It's the mind.
I really don't know where. I'm so glad you almost sort of motivated me to start the plan when we did, because I came home one weekend and it was my last weekend home, actually, and then Flyby went under. Anyway, you got me to start. I didn't actually sort of chase you were on to me, and had we have not have started that at that time, and then having gone through this coronavirus, quitting my job, getting engaged, I honestly don't know where I'd be right now, like, mentally, without having just this one part of my day that is that actually has some structure, because the rest of my day at the moment has no structure whatsoever. And one of the things that you made me do at the start of coronavirus, you know, as a coach, is you, and I said to you, one thing at the start that I was really struggling with was having, like, you know, my old life, I got up at this time every day. I did my training at this time. I had to do it at that time, otherwise I was going to get into the traffic. You know, then I'd have my work day, and then because I needed to eat, you know, I'd have to prep and da-da-da. Whereas now, because I'm just like at home, or was at home, I am at home, I had no urgency. I had nowhere to be, or no time, or there was no structure. I've actually said to one of my friends who's a like artist, you know, how, like, that's kind of her life is like that. And I was just like, how'd you do it? I love like having a program and being like, right, okay, here you go. So it's been so good for me. Like, I mean, it's not been easy, and it's been up and down. That's for certain. But at least it's not made me down. Like, well, it's, you know, it could probably have been really bad.
It's always a positive thing in your life, and I think a lot of times, you know, when you get success and you get the right program and you have patience and you keep persistent with it, it's a positive thing in your life. You can go into quite negative spirals in, you know, fitness, and you see it a lot of the time. People like become over obsessive, and it's not a vehicle that helps them in their life. It becomes their life, and that's where there's sort of dangerous sort of waters and dangerous territories. And I don't want people to be like, you know, more exercise is always good. It's not. It's find that balance in your life. Or getting obsessed over a number because it didn't happen yesterday or this or then. And also a lot of the time people get not people. I hate when people say people, but a lot of people do fall into a rut where they're doing the same thing over and over, and that, like, once you're in it, which is cool, and you need structure, but you also need to challenge yourself. You need to push on to the next thing. Maybe you're aging and maybe you're not getting PBs anymore, but you're still getting, you know, you're still doing slightly different things. You're doing a little bit more yoga. You're expanding your horizons. You're expanding your mind. I think that those are the things that you need to be aware of when you are on a fitness journey as well. But Amanda, I've actually kind of got to go because I've got a client next, and this has been such a lovely chat. Yeah, have you got any finishing words?
No, I just want to conclude. I mean, I think we all know that you know, the title of your talk is How Fitness Helps Mental Health. Yeah. And I think we all intrinsically, innately know the benefits. Like, you can just look on Google or watch the telly, and it, you know, tells you about all the scientific benefits and the health benefits and chronic disease, you know, prevention stuff, which is what Monika's story. We all know that, but I think it's those deeper meanings type things that you touched on in terms of fear, acceptance, being in the now. Yeah, so I just want to say it's personally definitely helped me focus, and I hope that it's motivated and somebody who might be watching to either start their journey. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be hardcore. I had to drop down and I've gotten results. So yeah, so thank you.
Putting everything into life. Also, I forgot to say, I will be putting together like a little document. So if you don't remember what I said about the, you know, something to run away from, something to run towards, I'll put together a little document, and we'll just, I think you'll be able to contact Amanda, and then she'll send the document over so you can get yourself, you know, and understand exactly why you're going to keep yourself motivated and exactly why you're going to actually exercise and keep it part of your regime. So hopefully this has helped anyone who's like on the fence or is too scared to start. Just starting a little program, you know, you can just lean into it. Start with a 5-minute walk, start with a 10-minute walk, and then just build up from there. You know, success begets success. So get yourself right. Okay. Thank you very much. I've got dash though.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you. See you in a bit. Bye bye. Okay. Bye bye.